it? How disturbing?
David, before you play anything, yesterday I listened to one of the people who is also vying. I'm told will come out strongly to contest. He's Patrick Bawumia.
Okay.
And he spoke on City, and he made mention of something that I think is integral. And if you check your WhatsApp, I'll put it there. If it's ready, play it for me. And David, I think that thought he shared summed up the current state of the NPP. I want you to listen to the gentleman.
As a party, we've gone through reforms, we've gone through changes that led to the election of President Kufuor in Legon and also in Sunyani, and subsequently he became the president of Ghana. This party has produced 2 presidents. We are fortunate to have 2 sitting former presidents alive. I'm calling on them to call for some action and order in the party, because this party produced them. As a party, going through this term, we've gone through reforms, we've gone through changes that led to the election of President Kufuor in Legon and also in Sunyani, and subsequently he became the president of Ghana. This party has produced 2 presidents. We are fortunate to have 2 sitting former presidents alive. I'm calling on them to call for some action and order in the party, because this party produced them. If we are going through this turmoil, we ask that they call people around the table and have a heart-to-heart chat with them.
Are you a member of National Council?
I'm a member of National Council, National Executive. By virtue of my chairmanship as the chairman of the subsidiary legislation.
Were you at the meeting they held to deliberate on this issue of the sequence of voting?
Okay, there were 2 meetings on that day.
You see, David, the NPP today...
About the 2 sitting former presidents.
Yes.
They should keep people in line.
And David, I can confirm to you that based on my sources, don't be surprised President Kufuor doesn't support Bawumia in this contest.
What would change? I ask because I remember in the build-up to the 2024 elections, you know, when he was being outdoored and all that, I know some of the things that the former president, John Kufuor, said about Bawumia. So what would have changed by now?
David, I don't know what might have changed, but what my sources tell me is that don't be surprised if President Kufuor do not, or his machinery or functionaries believed to be closely related to him do not support Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. You know, recently I told you I had some news for you, but I couldn't confirm and all that. But David, you see, who should be giving the nod? And that's your question on your monitor.
Before you even tackle that, I just want to quickly chip in this, that it's not just about, you know, Nanado, who is not in support to some extent of the candidature now. I know that Educhum, obviously, if he's also put himself up, tells you that he is not, you know, fully in support of him. And a few other people, even Kwabena Japong, if he should decide to announce his candidature or to contest, it should also speak volumes to all of us, because Kwabena Japong himself, prior to the 2024 elections, was somebody who was solidly behind, you know, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So again, what has changed? But let's talk about who deserves, looking at the NPP right now, who will be the best person to lead them into the 2028 elections?
David, the delegates will decide. But for me, I think that I've always said that Bawumia will still win. I think he has a slim majority going into the election, and I say so because of points I've already intimated. I think it's a deja vu now. He went through the super delegate, he went to November 4th, went through 7th December, so he has a certain momentum. He seems to appeal, and endear to the base of the party. They like him, the intelligentsia base of the party like him, the former appointees like him. I'm told that when the MMDCs, the new ones, the last 4 years, the ones that came, he sent 10,000 cedis to everybody when they were nominated. And David, you know, you cannot discount resources when it comes to elections. I'm told, based on my sources again, that his TNT so far is the one that is heavier. Kennedy is seen as the voice of the downtrodden. Kennedy will draw from those who went to Alan, you know, those people who felt that they didn't get anything from the Kufuor government and all that. Brian is seemingly now trying to establish a base just like Educhum, He's not a novice in politics, but when it comes to the general scheme of things, he's similarly a novice compared to the two. The delegates will decide, but for me, on any day, I think that Bawumia still leads them because of, as I've said, the momentum is carried. If you look at the history of the NPP, in fact, David, historically, Professor Dubois Ghana was just about 50% or so in 92. Kufuor's first time was shambolic. He did just about 6% until 96. And on the second try, after winning Sunyani in 98, he won the elections. Akufo-Addo himself did Legon, did 2010, did 2014 before he was given the position. When you look historically, only Mahama in 2012 attempted the presidency once and won. You know, Rawlings is an exception because of his 11-year military rule before he became an executive president. Kufuor tried 2 times, 96, 2000. Mills did 3, 2000, 2004, 2008. So historically, Mahama is only the exception when it comes to this rule. Akufo-Addo did 3 years. So Bawumia's failure is not really an issue. Mahama himself also failed twice, 2016, 2020, and won again. So historically, it seems to me that the fourth Republican script is playing out.
And even though with Mahamudu's loss, a lot of people were not even blaming him for the loss. It was because of the,
Yeah, that's subjective. It depends on who you speak to.
He was part of it, but I'm saying largely.
If you listen to people from the Kent's camp, for example, Kwesi Kwarteng mentioned that he has caused the biggest humiliation and loss. For which of course is true.
Oh yeah,
it is true.
So David, I was just trying to pick the.
That and that's one thing I often say to people when we meet and we're talking. I'm like, listen, some of the things may be true, but when you say that, how you say that can come around to haunt you. You understand? Because because you are supporting a particular individual, and you come out and say, well, he's the worst person who have suffered the biggest defeat for the party, and therefore he's not the person who should lead the party and all that. Don't forget that the opposition is listening and is monitoring. And in this day and age, like we did for Total Recall, they can easily
play back to
all
you.
those things to you. Now, again, going forward, you know what Sir John of blessed memory said? Fear delegates. So they're going to have over 200, delegates, 200,000 delegates. And then you say you are engaging with them, they'll come and tell you they are for you. But generally, you cannot read anybody's mind. How sure are you that indeed they are for you?
David, so I was just trying to give you some numbers. In 92, when young people did the race, Professor Dubois Ghana 56.5%. That was his first time. Kufuor's first time, he had 16.4%. He was third to Dr. Selby. In 96, Kufuor won with 52%. Dubois was second, and the likes of J.H. Mensah and all that. Asunyane, Akufo-Addo's first time, he got 31.6%. Kufuor had 64.6% at his third time. Now, when you compare to Bawumia's first time, he has 61%. Not even Kufuor, not even a Dubois, not even a Akufo-Addo garnered those percentages. So that also tells you that how sometimes we analyze Bawumia to make it seem as if he doesn't have the base of the party may not be correct, because the super delegate was just for about 800 people. But the Congress itself was about the base of the party together with the intelligentsia and all those people. So Bawumia is also that resolute. How the defeat they suffered, how momentous it is, will impact his candidature is what we are waiting to see in this current election. But also, I think that the fear delegates may not necessarily work because the electoral college has materially not changed much. We are waiting what they will do at the July Congress. But as we speak now, I don't think there will be much of change. That is why Kennedy's camp, until his birthday party, where he said that you're too free for more, you're too free to maybe, Look at Kwesi Kwarteng, for example. His camp were not happy because Patriotic Party is also part of it. Even the Boache Jakon has called the nonsense on air. They believe that you cannot rush into another election when you've not fixed the machinery that led to your defeat. Your car tires are worn out. If you have not replaced the tires, how do you put the car back on the road? You get it? So people believe that per the current nature of the car or the vehicle, Bawumia seems to be the most favored driver. Some believe that if they fix the tires and go through the check, they will notice that the driver didn't do routine maintenance, and people may call for a change. I don't know if you get it. So those are the two varied school of thought. But I think that no matter how they approach it and everything, I think as we speak now, I think the NPP will still bring him. As to whether he will win or not, we are waiting to see what will happen. Yeah, that would be my take on that.